as we have power, then switch to cold food once we lose power, if and when that happens. With Helena, we lost power for about 2 days and lost Wi-Fi for 3 days. Drinks, water, iced tea, those kinds of things. And we moved all our portable objects in the living room, dining room area in case the window breaches, and we'll have
Hurricane Milton is about to hit landfall in Florida. As you very well know, if you watched the last video, if not, click the subscribe button, click the bell notification. The National Weather Service issued a record number of alerts and warnings for tornadoes spawning as the hurricane looms. The tornado has been downgraded to a category, I believe, let me see. Let's go ahead and, I want to say 3. I just want to ensure that I'm as accurate as possible. I'm going to play some category 3. It's now category 3. Nonetheless, don't sleep on it. That does not mean that it will not cause the same level of devastation as other hurricanes, and it's not going to be as strong as expected. Here are some images playing from the Naples Pier sunset cam right here. First responders are already reporting in certain areas of Florida that they cannot get to people. I'm not even live right now. 1 second. Let me go live. You are now seeing the effects of Hurricane Helene in the outer bands as it approaches making landfall in Florida. These are images of Naples Pier sunset cam. Let's take a look to ensure that I'm on top of everything that's going on. You can see the water level slowly rising. This is at 6:33 p.m. EST. I had another feed of the causeway over by Sanibel where people have been ordered to evacuate. At this juncture, first responders are saying that they cannot reach certain areas if you haven't evacuated, so ensure that you hunker down as safely as possible. If you are in the area, tornadoes have broken out in several parts of Florida. I believe even in the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just taking a look at some of these live cams so you can get a better idea as to what's going on over here. Right here, you can take a look at this live cam real fast. You're seeing the winds brush against those palm trees and bending them like Twizzlers. The resort cam. There's another one that I had over in this resort. They were already ordered to evacuate. Now it doesn't want to run, perhaps because now we're online. So let's take a look at the live cams right here. This is Hurricane Milton. A live feed coming from, so as I'm doing this, I thought it would work. It's supposed to come in live. I had tested it previously, but everything, so you can start to see the water level as it's starting to rise. Again, there were over 90 alerts. It's like a record amount of alerts for 90 alert for tornadoes ever. Hurricane Milton live updates. Heavy winds, rain, and tornadoes lash Florida's west coast. A mighty hurricane is hurling rain, tornadoes, and tropical storm-forced winds at the Florida coast. And the tornado is already leaving damage in its path. Infrastructure damage. Let's see. Let's keep reloading so we ensure we get the latest information possible. Over 250,000 customers in Florida already without power as Hurricane Milton moves in. Is still a few hours from making landfall, but over 250,000 customers in Florida have already lost power, according to poweroutage.us. Power outages are expected to last days, if not weeks. Again, it's not safe for people to be outside right now, so authorities are recommending people to hunker down as safely as they can, ideally in a place that local authorities deem safe. Up to 1 million power outages. Hurricane force winds, gusts beginning to impact Florida. Winds along the west coast of Florida continue to increase as the center of Hurricane Milton is now just 50 miles from Sarasota. This is one of the places that will directly be impacted as Hurricane Milton makes landfall. Other top wind gusts of 6 p.m., 68 miles per hour in Venice, St. Petersburg, 66 miles per hour. Clearwater, 61 miles per hour. Sarasota, 60 miles per hour. Had some great feeds of what's going on in these areas. You can see the palm trees swinging back and forth as the wind brushes its leaves like it's yanking naps out of the storm surge from Hurricane Milton increasing quickly in southwest Florida. Hurricane Milton is quickly approaching the west coast of Florida and storm surge is ramping up in southwest Florida. Some areas could end up seeing more than 10 feet of storm surge by this evening. Naples is currently experiencing 2.76 feet of inundation over normally dry ground, which is into moderate flood stage. This is up more than 3 feet since midday. By my family's residence, like I told you, this thing's coming. Let me see if you could see this. So this is out in Orlando. Nothing devastating, but you can start to see that the water is starting to overflow the pool. This is in front of my godfather's house right here. And you can see in Lakeland, Florida, some kids, it appears, are playing in the floods. They've got a canoe. They're floating on a canoe back and forth, messing around with it. In Colombia, you do a lot of that stuff. Just bathe in the rain. I never did that stuff. I'm from New York. Well, I bathed in a fire hydrant, not in rain per se. Anyway, so nonetheless, it's creating dangerous conditions. There is an image. This is the image of Hurricane Milton from space. So let's go ahead and play that so we can get a nice look. It's incredible. Look at all that stuff that's lighting up. It's like fireworks there. I don't even know what that means. Hurricane Milton Advisory 19. Milton approaching the coast of west central Florida. Life-threatening storm surge, damaging winds, and flooding rains expected across portions of central and southwestern Florida. This imagery from NOAA goes east is providing visible cloud imagery every 30 seconds of Hurricane Milton as it pushes closer to Florida. Notice the frequent lightning being picked up by the satellite's GLM instrument as well. So that's lightning. Good thing I read, right? You read, you lead. So let's take a look if we could see anything more recent after I pulled that up. This webcam was pretty, you start to see, so this one they turned off. So perhaps the conditions had gotten too dicey for them to even show what's going on right now. So is this going back to the, let me see if I could see the cams again so we can load them up. There it is. So the live beach cams not showing me anything. So a number of people are visiting these cams. That's probably why they're not even loading it anymore, not even hosting it. This is Miami Avenue. So I'm not sure what area this is exactly. Bus 41. Let me take a look. On Miami Avenue in Florida. Bus 41 route. Is this in Miami itself? I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure where this is exactly, but as you can clearly see, if it's in Miami, this is the East Coast, and the storm is already dicing up conditions and swinging trees back and forth. So this is the video that I believe I wanted to show you. So, okay, so this is alive. Will it work? Let's go ahead and reload the page so you can take a look at the strength of this storm. Just in the outer bands, mind you, hasn't even hit landfall as yet. There it goes. So you can barely see what's going on. You've got a bridge. I believe this is the bridge that leads into Sanibel Island. I know there's one bridge that got wiped out during a previous hurricane. Not sure if it was Ian. Forgot which one exactly. Now this thing froze. So let me show you some of the, this is Fort Myers. Let's see if this one's loading up. They were getting pretty violent before. Okay, so this is the one we were just looking at right now. Just close that out. Marco Island Beach. If you're a long time watcher of our channel, you may have seen some of the video where I chased my son with a fiddler crab that we picked up over at Marco Island Beach years ago. But let me see, you can see what's going on right now. You'll probably see some of the ocean water overflowing the beach sands. Yeah, you see that, see? It's already reaching, and again, this thing hasn't even hit landfall yet. This is live coverage right here, 6:42 p.m. EST. You see the water is already reaching these parts of, if this is a resort, I'm not sure, or the inland entrances into the beach where people can hang out in. Let's see if this one, St. Petersburg. This one's not loading up. Okay, so this is in St. Petersburg, Florida. Let's see if we can get the live feed to start playing again. There was one of the Tampa skyline, and you can't even see because the conditions have already clouded the sky. So you can't even make out the skyline at all. Let me see. At least you get a still shot of it so you can see what's going on. All of these places are projected to be hit. So you can see what's going on in Englewood, Florida as well. I want to show you the image of the gentleman who lost his roof already due to a tornado that hit Fort Myers. Okay, so in this image, you can see this Tampa skyline, but the video that I saw earlier, the outer bands or the expectation, you know, whatever's coming in as a result of the Hurricane Milton's approach, you couldn't see anything. Now you could somewhat make out the buildings from Tampa. This is live, as you can see, 73 degrees. This is in Naples. So I'm not sure whether I showed you this one already, but you can already see that the water, storm surges are expected to come in as high, I believe, as 13 to 15 feet or so. So it's already overtaken this bridge right here. Does it cause some damage? No, that's just a ramp, I believe. Okay, yeah, that's just like a ramp right there. You see a flag waving in the air. Let's take a look at the updates then. 28-foot wave recorded near center of Hurricane Milton. A sailing drone captured a 28-foot wave and wind gusts of nearly 76 miles per hour near the center of Hurricane Milton, according to NOAA's Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorological Laboratory. The wave was recorded 40 nautical miles from the center of the storm, according to the lab. Watch video of the massive wave right here. So you can see this wave form I'm not even sure how they record the size of the wave if it's not hitting landfall. So what, 28 feet from the ocean floor? Probably bigger than that. Inside Hurricane Milton reported wave height of 28.12 feet and wind gusts as 75.95. Milton approaching west central Florida coast. Landfall expected this evening. 120 mile per hour winds. Tampa Bay water levels to swing wildly as Milton passes. They're expected to swing wildly, of course, as you see them swinging in the videos that I just showed you. More than 100 bridges in western North Carolina were destroyed by Hurricane Helene. Official. Okay, so this is something else. Enters lockdown ahead of. So they closed the NASA Kennedy Space Center. They closed Disney and I believe Universal Studios just today. I wonder who is hitting Universal Studios and Disney today. I mean, they'll probably get on all the rides as fast as possible because I have hit Great Adventure out in Jersey during rains, not during a hurricane though. I mean, because you never know. Everything turns into a projectile. You got like a golf club and it's just laying on the floor or anything practically, and it starts flying at 75 miles an hour or 120, 175 miles per hour. It's going to slice right through you like a hot knife through butter. So that's the reason why you got to evacuate. It sucked the whole roof off. Some dude was talking about that he could swim. It doesn't really matter if something's flying at you at 20, 50, 60 miles an hour. It sucked the whole roof off. Man in Fort Myers describes moment tornado hit his house. Right here, Robert Height looks around his destroyed house after it was hit by a reported tornado in Fort Myers, Florida on October 9th. Sick. Oh, man. Feel bad for this guy. My prayers and heart goes out to all the people that are already undergoing issues through this hurricane. And it hasn't even hit landfall as yet. One family in Fort Myers was inside their house when a tornado ripped off the roof on Wednesday. Hurricane Milton has spawned several tornadoes, a record number of alerts issued by the National Weather Center, as well as torrential rain and thunderstorms that are lashing the coast as the most dangerous parts of the storm move closer. Robert Height told AccuWeather. I lost it. I heard a piece of glass crack and it sucked the whole roof off, and I felt the thing sucked me up, and I grabbed my kid and my wife and hunkered down. With the roof gone, the entire inside of the house is exposed, littered with debris. I hope he can find shelter or hunker down somewhere safe. Milton's outer rain bands are interacting with the front draped over Florida, which is charging up the atmosphere with an extra boost of energy. This extra atmospheric energy combined with afternoon heat, that's probably why you see the lightning. Like the fireworks that we were looking at earlier, keep losing it right here. The extra atmospheric energy combined with afternoon heat, some lingering dry air, and added spin in the atmosphere from Milton is what has allowed the hurricane to produce quite a few tornadoes over the next several hours. And a lot of this, based off what I've been reading, scientific reports, is because there's something called a loop current that forms in the Gulf of Mexico that works like cogs, and it just causes this current that keeps looping, and that intensifies with increased heat of that area, which is why you're able to see the sediment so clearly out in Clearwater Beach. I went there, and it is indeed a clear water beach because of the current of the flow, the Coriolis effect. I mean, a lot of people know more about this than me. Fort Myers, Florida. You can see the winds forming again. You see the, look at that. Wow. It took out a tree. To take out, hold on, was that a tree or that was some type of debris? Probably just like a piece of a tree. It's hard to take those palm trees out because, I mean, God made this so perfectly that they are designed. That's why you get so many palm trees in Florida. They withstand. So I guess through evolution, they withstand, and or they just there because they have to be there. These are the type of trees that have to be in that type of area that's been prone to hurricanes always. Sarasota police won't be able to rescue people when winds exceed 45 miles per hour. If people need help, we're not going to be able to come to them, of course, because as I was saying in my previous video, if you were able to evacuate, you did not evacuate, you are not only endangering the lives of yourselves, but of the first responders that are tasked with rescuing people. So they will enter dangerous and perilous situations in order to get you out because that's their job. But why is there a need for that if you had a chance to evacuate? We're at the point now where we really need to think about hunkering down. The chief was staying in a building rated to withstand winds from a Category 5 hurricane, and windows near him were shaking really badly, he said. Really bad, he said. Okay, I think you're supposed to say badly, and it doesn't matter. The National Weather Service earlier this afternoon said it was now time to shelter in place from Milton, that people should stay indoors unless a life-threatening situation arises. Flooding would cause problems for buildings that were damaged during Hurricane Helene and still are in tough shape. So these communities, mind you, are still reeling from the effects of Hurricane Helene. There's debris all over the place. They were not able to clear out everything, the rubble that's lying on these streets, and now Milton is slamming them. Milton's eyes seen on Tampa radar. Hurricane Milton Center is about 30 miles from land, and now the entire storm can be seen from weather radar. Milton's heavy rain, yellows and oranges, surround its circular eye and stretch over large portions of Florida. So you can see it like that. It feels like pellets smacking onto your skin, Sanchez said of the rain. Sanchez is the, I guess, reporter that's on scene in the Tampa Bay area. And it just keeps getting worse based off of the reports that I keep seeing, people on the ground. He aided that the waves in Tampa Bay are becoming stronger, noted that the Tampa's skyline, which typically could be seen from where he was standing, is now hidden away by a mass of clouds. So you can't even see it anymore. Hurricane force gusts reached Sarasota area. A 77-mile-per-hour wind gust was recorded at Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, 77 miles per hour. So I believe they were feeling 45-mile-per-hour winds or something. I'm not sure how fast the tornadoes were spinning. Tornado captured on video in Fort Pierce. Florida Department of Transportation camera captured footage of a tornado moving through Fort Pierce on Wednesday, the video shows. Fort Pierce is a city along the state's eastern coast. That's on the east, Fort Pierce. So let's take a look. Fort Pierce. Matter of fact, I believe I had some results up for that tornado. You could probably see some video of it real quick so you can get an idea. Here's the full tower camera video. The intense tornado that just went through Fort Pierce. It is right here. So as long as we get it to load up, we'll get to see it. I believe we may have seen this one previously. So you're seeing this. It's got a broad edge. Yeah, look. It's just crossing. It's just crossing the street, like whatever. I don't care. You could see it crossing. There's somebody driving there. Oh, so he stopped. He saw it. Okay, smart move. Reverse. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I see reverse lights light up. There it is. Wow. That's incredible. Look, all of these trucks just stopped. Wise move. You got the debris flying, trailing it. That is bonkers. This is from the Florida Department of Transportation. That's incredible right here. Absolutely bonkers. Let's see what else they got in live storm chasers. Okay, so they want me to log in. Not going to do that right now. Milton growing in size. Hurricane Milton's wind field has more than doubled in size since yesterday, and it expected to expand more. This means its disastrous impacts will be felt over a much larger area. So it's widened. The last report I read, it's right there, stretches from Miami to Savannah by Thursday. So that's Miami. The bottom of the map, all the way to Savannah, which driving is roughly what? I don't know, 7-8 hours away. Just to get out of Florida, like 6, 7, 8 hours from Miami. You saw the power outages. Live refuge, okay. And this is from, they just changed it here at the AP. What do we have here? Oh, this looks kind of calm. So some areas, again, this hasn't hit yet. But as you can clearly see, you could already see the effects. I mean, this guy losing his roof alone. That sucks. He had to hunker down. He had to, probably shield his son or his child. Let's see how this is looking right now. Now it's just crashing all over the place. Hopefully this structure is not too damaged. I'm pretty sure they're going to have to inspect it to ensure it's not compromised. But the destruction that these natural disasters leave in their paths is just incredible. Meteorologists get death threats as Milton conspiracy theories thrive. Right now is no time for conspiracy theories. This is about saving people's lives. Hurricane Milton hits Florida with tornadoes. Milton closes in on Florida as a large Category 3 hurricane. Marco Island, Florida resident under Hurricane Milton evacuation order, explained why he's not. Rain, tornadoes. I like to see what's the... Well, I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes people don't have gas. I mean, I guess people have their reasons. A barrier island off of southwest Florida, though not everyone has evacuated. Michael Sean Homerford, 65, told NBC News he decided to stay and watch his parents' condo on the 23rd floor of a building while they evacuated to Naples. I'm prepared. The island is closed. I have food and water for the next 2 days. I feel like I'm going to survive it. We're not going to get the worst of it, but it's going to be uncomfortable given that there's going to be power outages and it'll be hot and dark. Comerford, I mean, some people just don't care. Maybe, I don't know. But, I mean, you got to watch it because once you encounter death right in your face. Hurricane Milton tracker storm batters Florida hours before landfall. Biden, okay, let me see. Hurricane Milton, now Category 3 hurricane, has the potential to be one of the most destructive hurricanes on record for west central Florida. That's a wide wind field. So Milton will make landfall on Florida, west coast, Wednesday night, likely as a Category 3 hurricane. The state is bracing for life-threatening storm surge, damaging winds, and flooding rain. Tampa faces biggest evacuation in decades. At least 15 tornadoes reported. Tracking Milton, live forecast. The storm is about 50 miles west-southeast of Sarasota, moving at 15 miles per hour. The latest storm surge forecast is 9 to 13 feet for Sarasota, 6 to 9 feet for Tampa, and 8 to 12 feet for Fort Myers. So Fort Myers, so the southern part of these three potential impact points is what I believe, where the highest storm surge is projected. Widespread heavy rain is impacting much of the Florida Peninsula with tropical force winds spreading inland. A recent wind gust of 68 miles per hour was reported in Fort Myers Beach, Florida. There have been at least 15 reported tornadoes across the Florida Peninsula. Yeah, I mean, they keep on popping up every few minutes. And let's just go to tornado warnings. $90 in total. Excuse me, or 90 and better. Let me see. Look, as of 6 p.m., 55 tornado warnings issued today solely by NWS Miami. 98 tornado warnings issued. See? By NWS Tampa Bay, NWS Melbourne, and NWS Miami today. At least 9 confirmed tornadoes today in our NWS Miami area. So in Miami, there are tornadoes already forming. And this, mind you, see, look, Miami, I mean, I don't know who hasn't been in Miami. Everyone I speak to has some type of association with Miami, partying or whatever. Anyway, I've lived in Miami. It's on the East Coast, right? And this storm is coming from the West Coast. So you can see the potential of this storm because the only thing that's spawning these tornadoes are the outer bands. This is not the storm itself. Nowhere near the center of the storm. Here's a list of all the tornado warnings issued by NWS Tampa Bay. See? A huge concentration. And this is, I believe it's the most tornado warnings issued in one day. On record. Tornado warning including Brevard County. I got a ticket there one time. Thank God I got dismissed. Such an incredibly busy day for the NWS offices of South Florida. Over 130 tornado warnings have been issued. Extreme wind warning issued for Tampa and surrounding areas. This is unbelievable. We've seen over 130 tornado warnings across Florida. Another day in the books. Charlotte, the sun will set over the Queen City. All right, so they're talking about hit from Milton. Meteorologists 53 tornadoes. So that was earlier. What do we have as late, as recent as possible? Okay. See, tornado warning record. Milton brings tornado threat to South Florida. Hurricane. Oh no, this is Hurricane Irma. This is old. I can't get over it. You always have to scroll through all of this archaic content whenever you're browsing somebody's profile on X. I'm not sure what they did there. Anyway, I guess it's the most popular ones first. Hurricane Milton tracker storms batter Florida. Let's get out of here real fast. Now, I think the live feeds aren't working because I'm live streaming right on this device. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see how this one's going. This is an advertisement. Welcome to Marco Island. Did I show you? Yeah, we saw this one already. This one you could see this flowing. This from a Florida flight camp. So is this coming from? Yeah, this looks crazy. Is this? No, it's not a bridge. I'm not even sure what this is really. All I know is that this is St. Petersburg, Florida. And these are the conditions on the ground right now. I don't think this is water. I mean, on the floor, I believe there's a floor. It's not a body of water. Yeah, because there's a truck back there, right? There's like a truck back there. So this is dry land. You just see that there's torrential rains pounding down on pavement or whatever constitutes the land on that image. You see 7. This is in Englewood. Did we look at this earlier? Not even sure. Well, it's not even playing. So let's just start closing down so we could get a... We saw this one. Okay, so that one works. Palm Beach, Panama City, Naples. What do you want to see? Let me see. Fort Myers. We've seen Hillsborough, Florida State Park, Florida, Englewood, Everglades, Cam. I wonder how everything's happening in Everglades. I know the Everglades is not... Oh, Everglades looks serene. Oh, it's safe out there. There's not much going down. You see the airboats. They are closed for business, I'm guessing, because the courts are closed, the schools are closed, and those airboat rides are awesome. It's like $20 a head, real cheap. Let me see. Extreme warning issued for Tampa as eye wall moving onshore. So the eye wall is moving onshore. We're almost there. Get death threats. I don't know why people are death threatening. They're sending threats. This has nothing to do with anything. I mean, people, you can clearly see people are losing their homes. Look at the devastation that I captured over in Asheville. Come on. Hurricane Milton is approaching Florida's Gulf Coast, where millions have been told to evacuate. Its forecasters warn it could be one of the most destructive. The National Weather Service issued an extreme wind warning for Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Manatee counties in the Tampa Bay area as extreme winds associated with the eye wall of Hurricane Milton were moving onshore, telling those in the warning area to treat those imminent extreme winds as if a tornado was approaching and move immediately to the safe room in your shelter. Hurricane force winds gusts of 77 miles per hour have been recorded at a weather flow station at Egmont Channel at the mouth of Tampa Bay, about 15 minutes from St. Petersburg. Milton is located about 50 miles southwest of Sarasota and moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. Sustained winds of 120 miles per hour, which classifies it as a Category 3 hurricane. 120 miles per hour is still no joke. Don't sleep it. Just because they're talking about that they're downgrading the storm, it's going to come in lightly or anything. No, it's not. This thing is still, I mean, as I said, the wind field is stretching all the way down south, the bottom of the map. Miami to Savannah, which is nuts. Because if you take a look at, let me see, Miami to Savannah. Take a look at the directions, see how far that is. That's a 485.1 mile span of hurricane. That is, wow. Look at that right here. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. That thing is huge. Huge. And you'll probably see the effects of that in South Carolina and North Carolina, right? Of course, there's no route right now open because who will start commuting with tornadoes crossing the street like it's nobody's business? At 8 months pregnant, Florida resident makes tough choice not to evacuate. Wow. Biden blasts Trump for... All right. Biden blast... What's up with this Biden blast Trump? Residents in St. Petersburg area advised to shelter in place. Polluted waste from Florida's fertilizer industries in the path of Milton's fury. Over 130 tornado warnings issued across Florida ahead of Milton's arrival. Tornadoes damage mobile homes in the rural area south of Orlando. So they're already damaging mobile homes. I mean, those are pretty much already damaged once they announced that a hurricane's coming through, right? Some roadways on Florida's southwestern coast are already flooded. Where is Hurricane Milton? So they still don't know where the center will come ashore. Path tracker as of 6 p.m. was centered about 50 miles southwest of Sarasota. As of Wednesday evening, at least 133 tornado warnings. Said she wrestled with the decision to stay and hunker down in her home, but with a 2-year-old son and a baby girl on the way, thought it was best. Well, hopefully this couple is in a safe place. The thing is, it's so difficult to evacuate in a peninsula, she said. In most other states, you can go in any direction to get out. In Florida, there are only so many roads that take you north or south. That's crazy. All right, Biden blasts Trump for spreading... Okay. So we're not talking about Helene right now. It has nothing to do. That's neither here nor there. Okay, so we're in. The Tampa area, which is bracing for Hurricane Milton's impending landfall, is now under an extreme wind warning. This type of warning is the most severe, most urgent alert for wind and indicates an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Take cover now. Treat these imminent extreme winds as if a tornado is approaching and move immediately to the safe room in your shelter, the Tampa National Weather Service warned. Take action now to protect your life. An extreme wind warning is in effect. Manatee and Pinellas County suspend emergency services. Okay. Milton's tornado count continues to rise in Florida. The tornado count is steadily climbing, and it keeps going up. So 55, 98, we already saw that stat. Over 100 combined, what, $130? 98, 55, and 9. So that's 155 minus 2, 153, 162. 162 tornado warnings. Record. Manatee and Pinellas County, both in the path of Hurricane Milton, are temporarily suspending emergency services as weather conditions worsen as the storm gets closer to landfall. Due to hazardous conditions, an alert from Manatee County says emergency services are suspended. 911 calls will be logged for when service is safe to perform. Pinellas County advised residents to shelter in place now on a separate alert, settle into a safe place, and stay put until the threat has passed and it is safe to go outside, the alert added. So just hunker down in a safe place at this juncture if you do not evacuate. A number of authorities were telling people to evacuate up until this afternoon, and my heart goes out to you. My prayers are out to the people that have had to stay. It's very easy for me to say hundreds of miles away that, listen, why you didn't get out? I mean, you saw the couple. Perhaps they made their best efforts to leave the area or the affected area, but they couldn't do so. Also, perhaps they're not in an immediate evacuation zone. Who knows? Everyone has to bear their own cross and they have to see things through. Everyone knows what they go through. I can't put myself in other people's shoes, especially if I don't have close enough proximity to be able to see what's going on exactly. Most dangerous part of Milton now coming on shore. Milton has started the process of making landfall, and its eye wall and most intense winds are coming onshore, according to the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Milton's eye wall has winds screaming at 120 miles per hour with higher gusts. The northern eye wall of Hurricane Milton is beginning to move onshore of the Florida Gulf Coast near Tampa and St. Petersburg, where an extreme wind warning is now in effect. Please shelter in place. rare extreme wind warning issued for entire Tampa Bay area. This thing is coming in quicker than I can read. Landfall isn't official until at least half of the hurricane's eye crosses over land, likely within the next hour or two. It is currently 7:10 p.m. Let's see what else we can find. How's this looking? Looks like that bridge is holding up pretty well. This is Fort Lauderdale. All right. So the sun's coming down. You always get some nice sky views when you're in Florida. My friends used to not like it. They used to say it's like nuclear holocaust. But I used to like it because you get like these nice pinks and purples. It's a shame they have to always get battered with all of these storms that hit the area on a constant basis, on a regular basis. Let me see. What else was I taking a look at? Hillsborough. Well, Hillsborough, that's by the Gulf of Mexico. Let's see how it's looking. Hillsborough Beach. Is this on the Gulf of Mexico? There's no rain coming down. He's getting a lot of wind. Oh no, this is no. This is the East Coast. Okay, no wonder. I thought Hillsborough was off of the Gulf of Mexico. It's not off the coast. So that's why there's no rain there. Lauderdale by the Sea, Miami, Coral Springs, and you're still getting a lot of wind nonetheless. The outer bands are still. What's that? Oh no, this is Meerkat. Miami, Naples. Did we take a look at Naples? I think this is an old picture. Yeah, some of these don't operate. EarthCam. Yes, that's the same image we're picking up from EarthCam itself. What else we got? We got another update. All right, we already read that. The most dangerous part of Milton. Let's take a look at what Mr. DeSantis. Epic storm prepares to slam Florida. CNN. Rain, tornadoes, and tropical force winds. Hurricane Milton. Where will Hurricane Milton make landfall? Forecasters still don't know. Hurricane Milton to make landfall in Florida tonight with life-threatening storm surge winds. Devastating hurricane force winds. It's a Category 3. Again, don't sleep on it. Winds of up to 120 miles per hour as of 7 p.m. You still don't want to be outside. 35 miles west. An extreme wind warning. Tornado watch is in effect. And this is where all the tornado warnings are coming from. Severe T-storm watch, severe T-storm warning, tornado warnings. So all through this area. I think that this tornado warning or tornado watch area would be a lot bigger due to the rising number. But perhaps it's not updated. Let's see, is there a time here? Less than an hour ago. Tropical storm. There's no legend for. So Thursday, early a.m., 90 miles per hour. It'll hit Tampa. Then Daytona Beach, Thursday. So storm surge. I read the direction shifted south somewhat. Power outages, you're going to get them all over the place. Flood outlook, very likely. So you're very likely to get floods in the Tampa area, in Orlando, somewhat in the southern areas and the northern areas. So it looks like the direct hit is aiming directly for Tampa if they are expecting the most severe impact to be in this area. So it looks like that's where it's going. I mean, I know that they were discussing models. I believe they had concurred on a model that found that the storm would shift south a bit, but I guess it's going directly for Tampa. That's where my mother's at, too. Well, she's in Orlando right now, as a matter of fact. Okay, so they're on high ground. God willing, my prayers are with her. Milton's pressure has fallen to 897 HPA, the lowest pressure in an Atlantic hurricane since Wilma in 2005, 882 HPA. Such a short loop. You got to scroll through all this archaic content. All right. I haven't gotten any more tornado warnings. They just keep growing, though. And again, these things are dangerous. I thought that a lot of the damage sustained over in Asheville, North Carolina, and everything that I showed you on our previous video came as a result of a tornado, but it was the water, the storm surge that hit the river, the Swananoa River, hopefully I'm saying it correctly, and I believe the surge climbed to 30 feet or so based off what one officer who was operating a drone told me. And it just swept, I mean, all these gargantuan structures, tractor trailers, cars, all into each other and just took out, like the River Arts District, where all these businesses were powering a bustling community. Stage right here, Western.
Hi, I'm Brendan Fogarty with Fogarty's Home Services. Do you have rooms that are too hot or too cold? Areas that are wet or humid? Or does your family just need more space? For any comfort issues, for any season, call Fogarty's Home Services. We fix uncomfortable homes.
Oh, it's from Massachusetts. Interesting. So
You've probably noticed by now that meteorologist Jana Brown's been off the air for the last few days. Don't worry, nothing's wrong.
That's interesting. So this lady is on vacation. She got caught up out there? Okay. Is this him? Okay, so...
Anyway,
She's safe, folks.
I guess as a meteorologist, I wasn't, overwhelmed to leave. I actually...
That looks crazy already. I wonder what footage they're streaming right there. Meteorologist Jana, okay. Well, I guess this is like historical stuff. The weather's only just starting to go downhill, but it's just a typical day in Florida where everybody knows what's coming. Jana went down to the wonderful world of Disney, but got some dismal weather to go along. We were coming here on a family vacation, and my entire family canceled, but my husband and I decided to come down anyway. She said, I guess as a meteorologist, I wasn't overwhelmed to leave, but I was actually drawn to stay here still. She has a plan because, after all, she's okay. I know that we're under a tornado warning. We're actually going to go out of our room and go out into the hall. I just saw lightning and know there's some storms coming. It's probably the last time I'll be out in this balcony, but we have everything. We have everything we need to wait it out, and we know we're okay. So they're not giving a lot of information, just this lady's experience. This is from Massachusetts. So... the tornadoes, we've been watching them 10 hours ago. Hurricane Milton update as Florida breaks warning record. Let's take a look at what Governor DeSantis is talking about. So he hasn't given out any instructions or updates. They sometimes write on their Twitter profile. Let's see. Let me see what we have here.
Done you fam to me.
Let's see what we got here. This is 5 hours ago. Ahead of Hurricane Milton's landfall, I visited a logistics staging area. So he's been visiting these logistics staging area. I can't zoom this out. Okay. Thousands of state and local emergency personnel and over 50,000 linemen are now at sites like these across Florida. They are prepared to save lives and start restoring power as soon as the hurricane passes. We are grateful for all they are doing. So I believe they brought over linemen from different parts of the country to ensure that people have power or regain power as promptly as possible. So they appear to be doing their job. 8 hours. Harris DeSantis trade barbs as the hurricane. Let's see what. 42 minutes ago. Here we go. Today, Governor DeSantis joined by Florida Division of Emergency Management. Okay. What are they talking about? Let's go ahead and visit. As of 11 a.m. Okay, that's 11 a.m. This is hurricane warning, tropical storm. Nothing about the tornadoes. Okay, this stuff is old. Okay, so we could see some more about the disaster response. Has activated the State Emergency Operations Center to level 1 since Tuesday, September 24th for Helene, and is at level 1 for Hurricane Milton as of October 6th. Leading coordination efforts for the State Emergency Response Team. The State Emergency Response Team is engaging in over 1,800 missions to assist counties in their preparedness efforts. These missions accomplish vital tasks like staging resources deployed for immediate response as soon as it's safe to do so. Nearly 150 shelters are open, supporting over 31,000 Florida residents. FDEM has facilitated the distribution of the following items to counties across the state in preparation for Hurricane Milton: 726,200 liters of water, 581,000 MREs, 237,000 sandbags, nearly 33,600 tarp kits, 23 urban search and rescue teams to 10 swift water teams, including 1,600 personnel, staged in areas throughout Florida that are ready to respond to the projected impacted areas of Hurricane Milton. FDEM is working with the Coast Guard, National Guard, and other state and federal assets. This collaboration with air operations will further enhance their ability to respond effectively to any emergencies that arise. On October 9th, 3 FDM evacuation shelters are operating in Manatee, Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough. The Florida National Guard activated over 5,300 service members for Hurricane Milton preparedness. The state of Florida has partnered with Uber to provide residents in mandatory evacuation zones free rides to a local shelter. To get a ride, residents should open the Uber app, tap account on the bottom right, and tap wallet and add promo code Milton Relief. So if you have to get to a shelter or someplace safe and you are in the area, then that's your guide right there. Evacuation shuttles are operating in Manatee, Pinellas. The Florida State Guard has activated and mobilized nearly 200 soldiers in preparation of Hurricane Milton. FSG units answering the call. FLNG has 18 rotary wing aircraft, approximately 440 high-wheeled tactical vehicles, and over a dozen boats prepared to provide search and response and damage assessment support post-storm. The Florida National Guard, 5,300, we read that. Current FSG units. FSG stands for, well, as long as you know that these are first responders and people that are helping people on the ground. Six search and rescue teams with vessels, 2 UH-60 Blackhawks, 10 maritime and flood response teams, 10 vessels, 3 high water UTVs, 13 supply distribution UTVs, 4 UAS teams, 1 incident command vehicle, 2 skid steers, 2 diesel fuel trailers, 2 amphibious rescue vehicles, 15 cut and toss crews. So they're marshaling substantial resources in Florida based off of what they're quantifying on this press release. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is directing the deployment of an additional 500 out-of-state law enforcement officers. These officers will respond after the storm to help maintain law and order. Hopefully it's all enough. FDLE's mutual aid, but regardless, federal government needs to step up as well and ensure that they provide as much support as available, which is substantial, to ensure that they save as many lives as possible. Nearly 200 FDLE law enforcement analysts are on standby to help law enforcement officers with reunification efforts for Florida citizens who may lose contact during Hurricane Milton. The FDLE Sworn Training Unit Cut Team is ready to deploy. FDLE law enforcement strike teams from Miami and Pensacola are at the ready to assist local law enforcement agencies following the storm, including violent crime investigations, patrol services, and security. The Florida Department of Veterans Affairs is preparing its state veterans' homes in the potential impact for the arrival of Hurricane Milton. Residents and staff sheltering in place in hardened facilities with full generators. Outpatient appointments at VA clinics in the projected path are being rescheduled or converted to virtual. Florida vets, or follow VA on social media. For all my vets, thank you for your service. Hit floridavets.org for more information on social media for closure details. State Veterans Service officers are available to take your call, 727-319-7440, or email fdva.vso@fdva.fl.gov. The VISN, a clinical contact center, is operational 24/7, 365 for virtual care and tele-emergency care to support Florida veterans enrolled for VA health care. Call that number right there. I can go ahead and zoom into it if you need it. 1-877-741-3400. The Florida Department of Juvenile Justice has finalized storm preparations to ensure the safety and security of staff and youth in our care. This includes fueling all vehicles, moving vehicles in low-lying and flood-prone areas to higher ground, testing and ensuring adequate fuel supplies for generators in the event of loss in power, ensuring food, medicine, and emergency supplies are stocked and ready. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has deployed high water vehicles and all other storm response resources statewide so they may be rapidly deployed to assist Floridians in need in the event of damage or flooding. Contingency plans based on forecasted landfall locations have been deployed and remain flexible based on the storm's projected path. In addition to local officers, approximately 132 FWC officers plus additional personnel have deployed to identified staging area ready to respond with a variety of specialized equipment as necessary, such as 47 boats, including airboats and shallow draft boats. There were a number of parked boats over in the Everglades. Put them in operation if you need to do so. Commandeer them, pay those people, of course, to ensure you use them and ensure that if you damage them in any way, you'll compensate those people, because I do know that they look like mom and pop operations coming from the organization that I hired to give me a tour over there, like the Miccosukee tribe. Anyway, 132 high water capable 4-wheel drive vehicles, 29 high water capable swamp buggies and UTVs. You got to throw me one of these. 3 SOG support trailers. They're highly equipped. 4 aerial surveillance drones, self-sustainment equipment, including Berg container units, hygiene trailers, generators, and mobile command posts. Fuel trucks. This in a G.I. Joe battle, I think G.I. Joe would lose, honestly. FWC, but look, no jokes aside. All jokes aside, this stuff is serious. FWC Special Operations Group teams will serve as reconnaissance units for the state and report on damage after the storm has made landfall. FWC Aviation section has been placed on standby, so considerable resources right here. I can go on and on and on and on. She went on and on. What I can do is I'll drop a link to this if you want to watch it, you want to read it yourself, or just visit fl.gov.com. Ron DeSantis, 46th governor of Florida. I'll keep you abreast with any developments in this storm as it makes downfall, and any resources available, anything that you require in terms of information. Feel free to post your requests in the comment section below. Talk soon.